Yet again, Liverpool.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day wherever you are from around the world. No, I'm not asleep, chat. Like many people has already got me. Well, his name's Luke. Luke's the one that reminded me. But no, hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the Kop Council Podcast. I am trying to think of a different name for the podcast, so if anyone has any suggestions, then please do let me know in the comment section down below. There'll probably be some crazy ones. I like them. But yeah, as you can see, I am joined by some very special guests in tonight's episode. First of all, we've got Wyoming from the Yanks of the Kop. Wyoming, how you doing, mate?
Well, thank you for having me on, mate. Good to be here.
Absolute pleasure having you on, mate. And I thought it wasn't right to just have one of them on. It had to be both of them. We've got the lads from the 1892 Reds podcast. First of all, Ricky, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure, man. And Luke, not falling asleep.
Listen, I've stayed all day long. All day long, I've stayed up for this one. So, pleasure having me back onto the show, mate.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, man. Love speaking to you about the Reds. And of course, guys, tonight we will be talking, of course, about a few debatable topics. We'll be talking, of course, the main topic of tonight's video anyway, and that will be, will Ibrahima Konaté be the solution for Liverpool next season? And we'll also be discussing, if that isn't the case, then who could it be? And of course, there'll probably be plenty of names out there anyway. Of course, we'll also be talking about FSG and them selling 10% of their shares and discussing what that could mean for Liverpool anyway. We'll be talking about the international break because I know all of us hate internationals, but it's always nice to talk about how the Reds did anyway in terms of players, and then we'll be probably finishing off the show talking a little bit about the Arsenal game. Of course, the Reds are back in action this weekend against Arsenal. Can't wait for that, I'm not going to lie. But we're starting out with random questions to begin with. I always try and think of one. And to be fair, I was trying to think of one like earlier on, but I'll start with Luke with this one. What would you get regularly at a cinema?
Oh, tough one. I mean, what would I usually buy my missus at the cinema? Usually, not myself. Sweet popcorn.
Okay.
Quite straightforward. That's all I can think of at the moment, but sweet popcorn.
Well, to be fair, I think many of others would as well. Ricky, what about you?
The only thing I get at the cinema is an ice blast. That's it, a Tango ice blast. That's me done.
Ooh, that's a very good choice. What, Wyoming?
For me, large popcorn, sweet popcorn.
Okay. For me, it would be an Oreo milkshake. For some reason, I always get one, which it's probably a regret halfway through the movie because it's just liquid. But yeah, guys, if you have any random questions you'd like to ask us, then fire away in the comment section. But let's say hi to a few of you guys. Anyway, Doug's in saying Q the corner slept in, for God's sake. Full bike saying what up? Doug saying evening to bike. All right, mate says, what's up, Mike? I've been a lot better. I'm choked up with cold. I'm talking like Sean Dyche has had 10 fags and a lot of pints, but I'm all right. Yeah, Doug, I did see that you wasn't the best anyway. So hopefully you're all well, mate. The miracle that Connor hasn't forgotten and not slept in again. I did that twice. I did it twice, guys.
Twice?
I haven't said anything yet. No, I'm keeping myself to myself.
Oh, it's a shame. That will never be forgotten. It will truly, truly never be forgotten. Evening, Siwas is in as well, saying evening to Doug. What else do we have? Doug saying hi back. Liz is in as well, saying hi. Hi, Liz. Hopefully having a fantastic day, as always. But let's get swiftly moving on then to the first topic, and that is FSG. Of course, some people have it. Some people like FSG, other people don't. We're not going to get in that topic tonight because I know it would pretty much divide the chat. I think I can safely say that anyway. But of course, the first thing before I do have to say anyway, before we do move on, and I did forget about it, but I will mention it now. Our thoughts and prayers go to Claude's family. Of course, if you don't know who we're talking about Claude, for Claude and the Bansters, or the majority of people would know him from AFTV, of course, passed away a couple of days ago. Of course, we did a few videos with him in the past. Absolutely loved the guy, loved speaking about football, and was generally a nice guy. And it was truly a shock to read the post. So our thoughts and our prayers with his family and friends at this difficult time. Anyway, and like we put on Twitter anyway, you never walk alone, Claude. We will never ever be forgotten ever again. So guys, so that is what I'd say anyway. But yeah, let's talk about FSG. They have sold, if I can find the little bit here. So yeah, they've sold 10% of FSG for 500 and it's gone off my screen from what they have sold. They have sold for £543 million. Now, this is probably what, it will probably help Liverpool in some sense. Some people are going, oh, we'll just go to the Red Sox. Well, from what we can understand anyway, that it will cover some of the costs that Liverpool have lost through the pandemic, and it will help with the Anfield Road expansion as well through the next year, of course, or year or two that's going to happen. Does this mean, of course, that Liverpool will go out and spend 300 million in the transfer window? That's not going to happen. I'm already going to say that right here, right now. Will it help a little bit? Potentially. We don't know further details into it anyway. But Waihomi, what was your first reactions when you saw the news that FSG had given up 10% of their stock?
Well, I don't see how anyone could be unhappy with this acquisition, because any injection into FSG as a brand is going to help Liverpool in the long run. So I don't see. Obviously, I think for people who wanted FSG out, it's probably going to make it much more harder for them, for FSG to leave now. But I think for Liverpool overall, I think people have to see the bigger picture here, because of course, it'd have been great for them to have a cash injection, but this will help in terms of clearing out some of the the debts that have been picked up over, or the losses due to COVID. So it at least put us in a better position than, say, some of our rivals, who have taken out big loans and have to pay those loans back eventually to stay afloat. And I mean, that's how most teams like West Ham and all of those were able to do transfer this last summer, of taking out big loans. So which we didn't do. So this will put us in a healthy position. I think people also need to have a bit more understanding of Jerry Cardinal. He's quite well respected in American sports, and for what he's done, in terms of, what he's done with the New York Yankees, where he's kind of dominated that TV rights, so they get exclusivity in terms of TV rights. So it's kind of allowed that branch, to really dictate their own terms and conditions of TV rights. So that's increased their own revenue. And also he's got he's obviously that partnership with I think it's Beal, where they statistics analytics. So I think it also links in with we recently signed up for a new analytics kind of method I saw recently. Can't remember what it was called, but that's also going to kind of be linked. And I was reading more on Cardinal today, and he's got a partnership with Amazon as well. So obviously Amazon have kind of just finally now entered into the football world in terms of being a market player in terms of TV rights. So that's, we can put it away where we are able to the points where we get more of our shows shown on Amazon, or some kind of deal there. Amazon's one of the biggest organizations in the world. So that would also really benefit us in terms of pushing Liverpool out there. And I think in the long run, if he's what their plans are, because obviously I saw as well that FSG want to buy a new football club as well. So we're trying to obviously copy what Red Bull and what City have done in the City group. So, 'cause I know Cardinal owns Toulouse. So we can then do something where, they buy, I don't know, it was like a German team or, another league like that, where you can then use those clubs as feeders to send players out on loan, young players out to get them grown. And then if they don't work out, we sell them on. Because it's done wonders for Salzburg and Leipzig, that model. So, I think it's exciting. Obviously, we're not going to get Mbappe from it, but in the long run, it will help Liverpool, because expertise that they're coming in, it will help us in the long run. And also, the deal allows LeBron James to have more involvement in FSG. So there's obviously going to be a lot of potential there with him and Nike. So, that could be an extra revenue stream, like endorsements such as trainers, shirts, all that kind of stuff, which we haven't really utilized. So, LeBron's going to obviously want to have more of a involvement, in terms of growing his investment. So I think it's only good for Liverpool, maybe in the long run. So I think people need to think about it in that way, rather than being short-sighted and saying, we're not going to buy an Mbappe or Haaland this summer.
Yeah, well, that's the thing in there. And I think I actually think someone's on playback. Can anyone see a echo, or is it just me? It's probably just me. But yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think overall it'll be the best thing for Liverpool in the future. Look, FSG haven't been secretive about it. They've mentioned an investor since I think 2018 with Liverpool, and trying to look for that perfect person to come in and help with the squad and help grow Liverpool as a brand, like Wyoming said. Ricky, would you agree with what Wyoming said? And moving forward, yes, LeBron James has bought away into FSG as well, and we've got other people, and other football teams really looking at the way that FSG have made Liverpool the ticking machine that they have done over the last couple of years. Do you think that this is a good thing long term, and do you think that we could see a lot of money being made off of stuff like this, and FSG maybe giving a bit more for other people as well, like an extra another 10% or maybe 15% to someone?
So there was 3 things I took from reading the article last night. Is the first thing where LeBron James comes in more involved, with in terms of sponsors, getting more sales for the club, bringing more sports stars with him into the brand. The second big thing was the person that's invested, like the company that's invested in this, is more interested in Liverpool than they are the Red Sox. Where he's pretty much completed American sports, isn't he? Like with what he's done over there. So he wants to crack European football. He said there's a lot of money to be made at European club football level. The TV rights over here are a lot different than what they are in America. So he's got more room to manoeuvre what he wants to do for Liverpool Football Club, which will bring us more money, so we can't complain with that. And the third thing is, although it's 10%, there are rumours that he will eventually take over from FSG, will buy him outright. Because let's be honest, I think FSG are angling towards them completely selling Liverpool in a couple of years' time. I think they paid 350 million for us. We're now worth 2.2 billion. They sold 10% of the company for more than what they paid for us. So they're already up on money. I do think he eventually takes over long term. I think he's more out there with wanting to do stuff for the club than what FSG are. The FSG are comfortable at the minute with what they're doing. So hopefully in a couple of years' time he does take over. And the debt that we've lost this year, I think it was something like 120 million. The money they've just got wipes that out. So hopefully we can have a strong summer and go for the players we want to get. Yeah,
well, 100%. And Luke, like Ricky said at the end there, maybe this will allow now Liverpool to go big in the transfer window. I don't think, like I said at the beginning, it won't be, of course, Liverpool can now spend 400, 500 million or even 300 million on, well, they could do if they wanted to, but I just don't think they will, me personally. But this does now give the freedom now for Klopp to go, okay, this is what I want. Can we maybe try it and look at it? And of course, we spoke about this before we come on a certain Erling Haaland's agent and father has been traveling around the places today, especially Barcelona, as it's been plastered all over Sky Sports anyway. The rumor is anyway that apparently the agent is meant to be flying to the UK tomorrow to have talks with Liverpool and Manchester United. It could even be Manchester City as well. So, Luke, what are your thoughts? Do you think the sale could enable Liverpool to spend big in the transfer window?
Who knows? I mean, do you know what? I think we'd all love to have 200-300 million in the summer to spend. I mean, we've been waiting for, I think, as you said, like 2018 was probably when we've all been sort of having this debate about, is new investors going to come in? I mean, was it a few years back there was lots of talk about the Chinese investment that might have came in to sort of obviously bring in sort of new ideas for Liverpool. I do think that this summer probably might be a bit too soon for them. I do sort of see where not many times I agree with Ricky, but I actually agree with him on this one with, I actually think Redbird are going to come in maybe in the next sort of 3 to 5 years, gain a bit more percentage in their stake. And I do think within the next couple of seasons, I think a lot more money is going to be spent out buying the right players. I mean, we're doing that at the moment. We're doing what we need to do at the moment. Like, they've obviously done the right thing where we've lost 120 million in revenue for COVID. That's obviously the main aim at the moment. It was pretty much like when FSG bought the club in the start of it, we had that £300 million debt. They got rid of the debt straight away. And it only really took them, a season or two after to then put some money down to start signing players. And we know what FSG are all about at the start. Like, they like to make a profit before we can then go out and spend. Look at, Coutinho, for example. The money we got for that, we bought with Van Dijk and Alisson. I do think in the next year or two, yes, I do think there is going to be a bit more investment. This summer, probably not. I just hope that Konaté looks a good signing, hopefully, if that gets over the line. The Haaland suggestions, I mean, it'll be great. I do think it's really important that if we are to get a Haaland or an Mbappe, for example, in the future, we need top 4 or we need to be in the Champions League next season. So, yeah, I think Redbird will probably be much more effective in the next couple of seasons, hopefully, if they get a bit more sort of percentage in their stake at the club.
Yeah, well, time will tell. It's like Ricky said earlier. FSG, they might be willing to sell more as the years go on. It depends how that relationship, works out. And I think if that can, maybe they might do a 50-50 partnership. Maybe they might not. Maybe, like Ricky said, FSG might sell it completely, and we might move forward that way anyway. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, of course. Doug says the Chatty Banter Reds podcast. It could be an idea. John Moore saying, "Hey lads, good to see you. I hope all are well." I'm very good, thank you, mate. I think all the rest are fantastic as well. Mick is in as well. What's happening, lads? Hello, Mick. Hopefully having a fantastic day, mate. A bike says, "Connor, do you sleep at night?" No, I'm a nocturnal. Hello. Hope you're well, lads. Doug says, large, for God's sake, large, sweet and salty popcorn. Why mix? Why mix?
Yeah,
So horrible. Doug, I'm leaning towards not being friends with you anymore. Large tank ice blast as well. Only kidding, of course. Liz says glass of wine and a cheese plate or platter. I don't think. To be fair, I don't think many people would do that, and I don't think we're allowed to anyway in the UK. Actually, we may be allowed to in the UK. I'm not really sure. KL says, is Haaland agent in Liverpool? Meant to be tomorrow. As far as the reports are suggesting, who knows? Sky Sports will make something up randomly anyway. Liz says, Connor, fantastic forum. Possibly. Liz says, Claude was a kind gent, he was indeed. Saber says, RIP to Claude as well. Doug says, let me get that back up. The voice of reason, but an absolute gentleman. I will miss him loads. Rest easy, Claude. Gone way too soon. I remember the video we did with him, Diesel, and Terry. Also, Connor. That was a great video. It was a great video indeed. I believe that was the last time we played Arsenal, I think, or a couple of days after we played Arsenal. So, yeah, that was just a fantastic video. A good bit of business by FSG, in my honest opinion, says Liz. Everybody is good at cooking something, but I'm good at cooking crumble, says Mike. I know Wyoming was laughing at a comment by someone in the comment section. I seen it. Where is it? I can't find the comment. Where is it?
818 he sent out.
Let me find it.
I think he said, "Well, homie, does he like crumble?"
Crumble, yeah. There
I do like crumble.
I found it. Wait,
I do like it.
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be with custard.
Yeah,
has to be.
To be fair, I would agree with you, but I know a good majority of people that have it with ice cream.
Oh. I don't like it. I like custard. No. Custard.
It's gotta be custard. Gotta be custard. Tom's in as well with the googly eye face. Hello, Tom. Hopefully on a fantastic day, mate. Jack Max in. Evening, lads. Hello, Jack. Hopefully on a fantastic night, mate. Where else are we by? Let's scroll on down. Jack says, hope you're all having a lovely day. Absolutely loving today, Jack, to be fair. But yeah, let's move on then to the next topic of tonight, and let's talk a little bit about internationals. Of course, we all hate international, I think, being Liverpool fans. I think we'd much prefer Liverpool play in games anyway. But the big international game, really, for Liverpool was Turkey versus Holland, where Turkey won 4-2 and actually beat Holland as well. And Luke, I'll start with you. Of course, Genie versus Kabak. I think, many people were very interested in this game because, of course, like I said, we do hate internationals, but it was nice to see both of them play. And I think a lot of people did finally recognize Kabak as a really, really good centre-back.
Yeah, I think playing even at this short period of time he's been at Liverpool, playing at this high level has actually definitely improved his game a lot. Of course, like Holland they're a good side. I don't think they're obviously the best team in the world. But overall we did have a decent game against them. I mean, we'll joke about, Wijnaldum being captain as they've got the same drive going forward, etc. So it's, I was quite impressed with Kabak, to be honest. One thing I was really impressed about this international break is we didn't have any major injuries. I mean, seeing the likes of, the most, I think the best bit about the international break was seeing Curtis Jones getting sent off near the end of the game, the under-21 game. Sort of, I knew England would bugger it up anyway somehow, but it was just, sort of good to see that, that bit of passion, bit of drive from him. But I think overall, going back to that Turkey-Holland game, it was good. It's good to see that, as you said, like that same sort of intensity. They're obviously still playing at a great level to go into the remaining league games of the season. I see our fixtures, our next 3 league games apart from Real Madrid are quite difficult. We've got Arsenal at the weekend, then we've got Villa and Leeds, so they're quite tough games. And I think Kabak, if he stays fit, 3 clean sheets in a row with Phillips at the back, we've still got that sort of slight chance to get into that top 4 spot. So it was good to see that. Obviously, looking at Jota as well, he looked good in the internationals. He looked just like scoring at the moment. And obviously, Thiago digging Spain out of trouble against Georgia. Obviously, he didn't play too much in the national break, which is quite good because we don't want to get too many injuries. But quite impressed with the Liverpool players that did play. They've done quite well, and fortunately enough, they'll go back to Liverpool without sort of any major problems in the injury department. Yeah,
well, like you said, fingers crossed, because I know international breaks with Liverpool, especially English internationals with Liverpool, it hasn't been the best of the last couple of times that we've had international breaks. But Ricky, Luke's mentioned there, Diogo Jota practically saving Portugal at the moment, which is good for Liverpool. Let's not get that mistaken. I know a couple of Portuguese fans were very, very angry that, it wasn't Ronaldo doing the business for Portugal. It was Jota, saving them. And, he's banging form, isn't he, at the right time, isn't he?
Yeah, he is for himself. I just think it's come a bit too late for Liverpool with what they want to do this season. I can't see us get in top four. But it's good to see Jota in top form with the Champions League coming up. Because we are going to dump Real Madrid out of the Champions League in style with Jota up front. Some of the other players in international duty done well. Like you said, Kabak, masterclass against Holland. I see a rumour today that when negotiating with Schalke already with Kabak's fee, we're trying to get it down to 9 million from 18 million. So yeah, that'd be good. Kabak looked good in international duty. Gini Wijnaldum's shock that he got bossed around in midfield by a Turkey team. Who else played in international duty? Thiago come on the other day, changed the game for him. They were losing and they ended up winning. So yeah, international football bores me to death. Unless it's an actual World Cup, you can sit in the garden in the summer with the lads having a beer, watching the football. But other than that, who needs international football? I mean, it's boring, it's dreadful.
Lads, I despise international football so much. It's shocking.
Unless it's a proper tournament, what is the point? These qualifiers do me in.
It's like, I wonder if they would ever do that, if they would do it by world ranking system, like the top 32 of the world rankings would just automatically go into the World Cup. Should they do that?
Might give teams like San Marino a chance.
Yeah, it could do. It could do.
I see what you mean though, with like sort of what they do in tennis or like darts with the seeding system. But yeah, I mean, it could get out of hand if because a host country has to go in there, then a defending champion has to go in there. Then there's, you're going to get so much. Like you will easily get one team. Even Germany, for example. Like, I know they're not out of that 32, but they lost to North Macedonia last night, so they're going to lose a lot of ranking points because of that game. If they went on a run of like 3 to 4 games without winning games, then they'd go out of it. And then you're just going to get this debate going, why are Germany not in the World Cup, but they're out of the top 32? Like, if you've done it sort of that sense. But, yeah, why not? Like, they tried the Nations League. That's not working.
That's such a damn tournament. like I'm sorry. What do you get from that? Like, what, an automatic place in the Euros? Is it like
a glorified friendly?
They do. I think Scotland went through the Euros, didn't they? Through the Nations League. I think Doug will correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but
Doug will.
I think Scotland went through the Nations League. There was like a playoff system, but yeah, it's. I mean, international football. Apart from, as Ricky said, because we know how great we are in the qualifiers. We'll win all 10 games or 9-10 games, and we'll go in the international tournament and we'll be absolutely shocking. So it's the same old for England. As always.
But to be fair, Biker said, imagine being Ireland right now. Imagine being Ireland, because Ireland are on a very, very bad run of form. I feel sorry for Dave, because I've seen Dave's pain on Twitter anyway. But Wyoming, I think Luke mentioned it, no injuries for Liverpool whatsoever coming out of this international break anyway, or international friendlies, of course. But the one thing for me that was very, very shocking, and it was shocking for me, that Trent didn't get picked at the beginning of it and he got dropped. Now, I think reading something today that UEFA could be making the squads to the Euros and even the World Cup to a 25-man squad coming up to help with, of course, the season building up and that, because, of course, we've got the Euros and then we've got the season straight after it. Do you think that, that helps, with selection, or do you think that makes it even harder having more people?
I think it really helps selection, but for me, I'd rather none of our players got selected. I really couldn't give sorry, but I really couldn't give a toss about international football or like England. I stopped caring about England after Euro 96. Because I realised we'll never win anything ever. We can't win our own backyard. We'll never win anything. So with Trent not picking, this showed me what a clueless clown Southgate is. He was a clown at Middlesbrough. He's a clown now. England aren't going to win anything with him. So him not taking Trent doesn't surprise me, because his whole idea of what he said, like Trent hasn't played that well, statistics don't back it up. Trent's been the best right back defensively in the Premiership this year for one-on-one duels, for tackle success rate. So I don't understand where he's getting his stats. He's still got the most assists. No one's got more assists than my right back. So for me, it was just positive for us because it allowed Trent to rest up, which he had like a rocky season so far with COVID, injury, like in terms of he hasn't been off form. So it gives him time just to rest. And like, you saw him in training, he looked happy, like ready to go for Liverpool. So for me, like it was Liverpool's gain, England not picking Trent. And the fact I think as well, overall, most of our players were at Kirkby doing the training week, with Klopp, allowing us to try new things and stuff. So, it was only a few of them went international break. So for me, yeah, it probably will help them in the long run if they want more players. But I think most of the times, I don't think Trent's going to get picked anyhow, even if they do go to Euro. I think him not picking him now, and if he went to the Euro, I think he'd still play Walker or Reece James ahead of him. Because in his mind that Trent's not done as well as them two. That's why even like, for example, like Wan-Bissaka's not going for England now because he's not going to get games for England. So, I feel like I'm actually happy that if none of our players were picked during the Euros, because they need a rest. And this condensed season doesn't help. So for me, like, it's positive. I did say before that I'd love us not to have one player go into national duties. And then someone said to me, if that was the case, it would be a championship team. And I thought, well, okay, yeah, actually, we'll probably need to have some players go international, but I'd prefer none of them to go. Because even like Keita, for example, he played full 9 minutes for was he Guinea? And I was like on edge the fact he played full 90. But then I saw him in training and I thought, phew, like he's actually fine. Because with him, when he plays nationals, they ruin him. They play him unfit because he's their best player. So for me, I hate internationals, and I think they're just a waste. I thought these qualifiers and friendlies are a waste of time. They shouldn't have happened because of COVID, because it just increases the risk of COVID spreading. So I think UEFA prioritized money over health for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not the one to really ask about internationals because I rarely. This is the World Cup or Euros. I rarely watch international football nowadays.
No, I absolutely agree, and the sense that I think everyone here has seen the photos with Sadio and Mo getting crowded by people, no security around, no people wearing masks, no socially distant, and again, like Wyoming said, it is increasing the risk of COVID-19, becoming a thing. Of course, Sadio's had it. Did Mo have it as well?
I think he did. There was a lot of talk saying that he didn't, but I think he did have it.
Yeah, so that was a couple of months ago.
He might have had a mask because he was at his brother's wedding. He wasn't wearing a mask. I know most people wear a mask at wedding.
True, that is true. I think the only players, and this was the stat, and I always like to say it like every time, I think the only two players that has stayed, actually three players, I think that either A, hasn't got injured or B, hasn't had COVID this year in the Liverpool squad is Bobby, Andy Robertson and Gini Wijnaldum, which just goes to show, like how chaotic the year's been for players. And of course, it's not just Liverpool, it's every single team in Europe that's had to put up with these anyway. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Doug says Scottish Braveheart was fantastic for Scotland too. Robbo's assist was pretty good against, I can't remember who he actually was against anyway, but Doug will let me know. Y1B says, are you guys happy that Liverpool didn't sign Werner? I'll ask Ricky this.
Do you know what? I was gutted when Chelsea signed him in the summer because there was so much talk of the in the nose on Twitter that Werner's done, we've signed him, and then it come out of the blue that Chelsea signed him in under 12 hours, and then we signed Jota, and I thought it's just like a backup, like a replacement for Werner. But after seeing Werner this season and that miss the other night, keep him at Chelsea.
Well, to be fair, if anyone did see, I can see a couple of people in the comments saying about the German mess. If anyone did see it, then it was a shocker. I genuinely think Mario Balotelli in a Liverpool shirt could have done a lot better than what Timo Werner's doing at the moment.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly is. Doug says losing to Luxembourg, that was embarrassing. Says Doug. Let me scroll a bit further down because there's some more comments. Bike says, to be fair, Portugal couldn't even beat Serbia. To be fair, I think Serbia, they have some decent players. Of course, they're not a world-class team, but, they do have some decent players. I didn't even see Werner's miss, says Doug. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. Oh, God, let's not talk about that, says
Big
Bike.
Chelsea fan, he is merciful Bike.
Yeah.
That was all about it.
Well, to be fair, I think if you're a Liverpool fan and you didn't say you wanted Timo Werner, I think you would be lying, in my opinion, because I think everyone wanted Timo Werner because he was the highest. He was the highest talked about player for months, wasn't he? And I think when all of us were, we were very excited. Oh, look, James Pearce has said that there's no other club for him. He's for Liverpool and all this, and then we were very, very much disappointed. And then now we're like, nice, we got Diogo Jota that's come back from injury and banging in goals week in, week out, and you got someone that can't finish with you're literally like Bambi. I think Bambi is the perfect word for Timo Werner this season anyway. But let's get into a few more of your comments before we go on to the big topic, of course, talking about Konaté and is he Liverpool's solution for next season. Karis Southford says, Doug. Doug also says, Faroe Islands?
Yeah, they when they were
Islands?
winning against someone at one stage, weren't they, in the week?
I believe they was. As Jack says, security. Security was shocking. Some players in the Premier League have struggled to recover from COVID, from long COVID. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't know how many players are struggling with long COVID, and there's so many unclarities about that as it is anyway. Official YMB says, not gonna lie, I think Wahome will do a better job than Werner right now. And to be fair, I'd like Wahome to sign for Liverpool, not Chelsea. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
I was more of a centre back as well. I was a centre back. No nonsense.
Hey, I think everyone had their application ready at one point to be a Liverpool centre back. I think that was an actual thing at one point. Jack says, just proves how special Edwards is getting all these players. My nan would have scored that miss from Timo. Says Jack anyway. But yeah, let's get moving on then to the main topic of tonight and what we're going to be talking about. And that is, will Konaté be the solution for Liverpool next season? Now, of course, the big news this week anyway is the fact that Liverpool are in advanced talks with Konaté and RB Leipzig anyway, from what we understand. Of course, nothing is a done deal in football until, of course, he's actually at Melwood, signed the contract and actually got the shirt. You should all know that from especially the Timo Werner situation, of course. But things look to be in the right, going through the right stages anyway. There's a report even suggesting that he's taken some medical steps in France anyway, just to trying to, move the process forward because, of course, we've got the end of the season and then we've got, the Euros and then the season's back into it. And anyway, but I'll start off with Wyoming. What were your first reactions to the news that, again, it was just out of the blue? It's like kind of like a Fabinho type signing, wasn't it? Or, the rumour anyway, just randomly come out the blue. I know we've been linked with him over the last couple of months with Upamecano. And of course, Upamecano, he's gone to Bayern Munich. We know that for sure. Anyway, but this was out of the blue, wasn't it? From, us going into advanced talks anyway to try and sign him.
Well, in January, we were heavy linked with him. And it was, in January, our two main targets were him or really Upamecano. But obviously Leipzig weren't ever going to sell them in January. Even last summer, they weren't ever going to sell them. So it was the case, obviously waiting. We saw Upamecano going Bayern. So it was obviously going up for Khan. I think with Konaté, the one concern we had was his injury. He had that big hip injury that took him out for a while. But I think I saw someone also say Konaté's injury prone. He's not injury prone, that's a myth. He's had one bad injury, realistically, hip injury, that took him out for a long period. Then he came back, he was rushed back early, then he got an ankle injury, which is common, people who come back from injuries. Other than that, if you look at because people go off by the transfer market and they have the injury history. The injury history adds in summer holiday break. So it says like he's missed like 80 days, but that includes the summer holiday period. So like he's not injury prone because it's basically like saying Van Dijk's injury prone now after this one injury. So Konaté's only had one big injury, and he's, and the reason why he's not been playing is because, Leipzig have had like the best defensive record in the Bundesliga. So, and it didn't, obviously Konaté was injured for most of that. So it didn't make sense for him to come back in and then push out Mukiele or Upamecano, who've had a good partnership. And that's why he's been sat on the bench. That's why he was on the bench for our 2 games, against Leipzig. Not because he's not good enough, because them two just play better, have created a good partnership. But I feel like in terms of his skill set, I think Konaté is a better player than Upamecano for me. I've always preferred him over Upamecano. I think Upamecano's got a big error in him. We saw that against us in our games. He's got massive errors. And I think Konaté's better than him. He's dominant in the air. He's a physical specimen, like a beast of a man. He's fast. He's got very good passing range. He's an excellent dribbler. Like, if you watch him live, he's good at bringing the ball out. He's good at doing what Matip does, bring the ball out and take on players and stuff, like he's complete on the right centre-back side, so he can keep Van Dijk on the left. So, he's everything you want at centre-back. The only thing with him was the injury, and he's shown he's over the injury now, so that's the only thing. And he's 21. He's a top player, still got huge potential to go. Like, you definitely in a few years see him as one of the best centre backs in world football. Because he's that good in terms of his skill set. So I think for us, I think people need to have context when they talk about his injury record, because he's not injury prone at all. That's a myth. I'd stop reading too much in transfer market, because the way they put it is not. They group it in, and it makes it seem as if because he's barely missed that many games as well. If you look at his transfer market, the injuries he's not missed many games. So I think for me, if he's a fit Konaté, it's a world-class centre-back next to Van Dijk, to be honest. And no disrespect to Gomez, because I think Gomez is the top centre-back. Matt's top centre-back. But I think with them two is the fact that Gomez's knee blew up. So we don't know how he's going to be when he comes back, and whether he's going to get to the level he was at before. So Gomez, you could then question whether he's, because there was a point where they thought his career could be over. Gomez. So we don't know what level he's going to come back to. And Matip, we know, is injury prone. He can't play sometimes in one game without getting injured. So we can't rely on Matip either. So we need a Konaté to partner Van Dijk, because that's them two is a title winning centre back partnership. Yeah, for me, wins the Premiership, wins the Champions League.
Well, I absolutely agree, and the sense that as well, for me, this is, and I think I said this, last week when we were talking about it on last week's podcast. For me, it's the perfect Joel Matip replacement, because he goes on those adventurous runs that we all love. Joel Matip when he does, when he is fit, he's strong, he's fast, he is just an absolute beast at centre back. And look, it is the sense of, he for me would be a perfect replacement for Joel Matip. That's number one. But like what Wyoming said, you could even replace Joe Gomez as the number 2 centre back. We'll probably do that anyway for now, because we don't know how he is going to be when he's come back. Same with Virgil as well. We could potentially be doing, maybe, Gomez and Konaté, because we don't know how Virgil's going to be. Can Virgil last for 38 games playing straight, and Champions League games on that as well? Maybe there might be a bit of rotation there at some stage anyway next season. But for the price tag as well, Luke, it is such a bargain transfer again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think especially in this sort of this world of financial transfers, etc., 35 to 40 million is a good price for a very good centre back. And I fully agree with what Wahomie said earlier about he's not been playing for Leipzig this season purely and simply because the back three, like Mukiele, Upamecano and Klosterman, have just been superb for him this season. So to put him straight back into a winning defence at the moment would be difficult. It's not that he's not good enough. I do think that he comes to Liverpool, he partners alongside a Van Dijk next season. We all love Joe Gomez, we love Joel Matip, but you know, we all know that Joel Matip is an injury-prone defender. We do know that he reminds me of a Matip. He really does. I know we've mentioned before, but Konaté really reminds me of a Matip. The way he's agile, he's strong, he's power, he's quick. He's able to read a game very well, and even like we've seen videos of him trying to get into midfield and playing passes into sort of the forward lines. You know, he's obviously got a lot in his locker when he's playing. But I do see with the amount of money that we're paying for him around that 35-40 million mark, he will be alongside Van Dijk next season. And there has been a lot of talks about maybe going along with 5 centre-backs next season. And as you mentioned, Connor, it's like because we don't know if Van Dijk and you know, we put Gomez in that category as well. We don't know if them two is able to last that sustainable period for 38 league games, Champions League, FA Cup, etc. Well, not FA Cup. Klopp don't like that, as we know. But like Champions or whatever European competition we're in next season, you know, are them two especially able? You know, are they going to be able to sustain that level? So and I think it's important that we maybe keep hold of, you know, Kabak or even if it's Phillips. And yeah, like it's just, I think it's a good bit of business in Liverpool. It really is. Just the question is anyone going to leave? Are we going to keep that 5 centre backs? And yeah, if we want Konaté to be in the next 2 to 3 years, if he's at Liverpool, like, you know, one of the top elite defenders, you have to play alongside a Virgil van Dijk that's going to make you that level. So hopefully we get the deal over the line, and yeah, we'll see next season what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, and well, it is that stage, isn't it? It's like fingers crossed that does happen, and he does actually sign for the club, of course. Ricky, I know that you were shaking your head then when Luke mentioned the 5 centre backs. Of course, if Konaté was to sign, then we'd have him, Virgil, Gomez, Matip, and Nat Phillips there with Reece Williams and the other people as well in the youth academy as well. Reece Williams will probably go back down and back into the under-23s and have a season under his belt there. But of course we haven't.
Davies invisible. You didn't mention Davies. Just say like, is he in the base for good?
Him and Tomiscus.
He's a hologram. He's not real. but no, we will mention Ben Davies. But to be fair, I did actually forget about Ben Davies. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, we got Ben Davies as well, him there. But the one guy that I was going to say we haven't mentioned is Hossein Kabak. Now, like Ricky said, we are trying to get that price a lot lower, down from the 17 million that Schalke want for him and that. But I believe I can't remember who it was. The Red Men said that it was a Bundesliga expert that said that Liverpool are trying to get both Konaté and Kabak for next season. Now, if that was the case, Ricky, could you see the likes of maybe Matip leaving next season, or do you think it could be Nat Phillips that leaves on a transfer? Do you think that it is that sense that Liverpool will try and keep everyone, or do you think that we will have to sell at least 1 centre back to bring everyone in for next season?
For me, we're selling 2 centre backs in the summer. If we get Europa League, you won't see Van Dijk in it, you won't see Gomez in it. The centre-back pairing in the Europa League will be Phillips and Kabak, if we get in it. Joel Matip goes in the summer, and Ben Davies gets sold in the summer.
Who?
Ben Davies in the basement. We're going to get rid of him. Is it Ben Davies? Yeah, he goes.
We remember the password then.
Yeah. I think we signed him for 500 grand, rising to a million or whatever it is. We sell him for up to 10 million in the summer to a low Premier League team, maybe a top-end Championship team. He will definitely go. Matip, I think there's rumours of him going back to the Bundesliga in the summer. Konaté comes in, he starts next to Van Dijk as a starter. I think Joe Gomez is done in terms of starting 11 in the Premier League. I don't think he's going to recover fully from what he's got. One of my mates in the WhatsApp group talks to me about Joe Gomez is average. Van Dijk makes him look a better player than what he actually is. All Joe Gomez is his pace. I don't agree with that in the slightest. I think Gomez is a very good defender. He's not good in the air, but that comes from him being naturally a fullback, not a centre back. I think Van Dijk will shock a lot of people next season by playing majority of the season in all competitions. I just think he's built different to a lot of other people. He smashed his knee to pieces in that Everton game, and he seems like he's come back very, very quick. I just think he's built different to certain other people. But Konaté is a top centre back.
Yeah.
You could just see him. Imagine him next season bullying strikers all over the place. Like, who's going to want to go up against Konaté? Like, we think Van Dijk's a beast. Konaté looks bigger than him in some of the videos I've seen. There's some videos on social media of him like dribbling through the midfield, picking passes. Reminds you of Joel Matip, but Joel Matip probably breaks down halfway through the run. But I love Matip. I think he's great, but he does go in the summer. And I do think we get a bit of money for him as well.
Yeah. So I said this last week. For me, he's around 35 mil to 40. Does anyone else disagree with that?
He's one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League when he's fit.
Yeah. It's definitely, there was a rumour with Matip that he wants to leave this summer as well. That was going around, that he wants to change. He's apparently his family want to move back to Germany.
He's probably realised he can't physically take the Premier League, like the strength of it on his body.
I agree with you, Connor. I think he's definitely around that sort of mark. But, I mean, there ain't going to be clubs that are going to pay that amount of money because of his injury record. So that might have to sort of half the valuation. I reckon up to 20 million is probably sort of the level we might get. But and I think Seamus put one comment in saying any sort of profit for Joel Matip is a bonus. Like, we got him on a free, so we can't really complain too much, on that. So
I'll take 50 million for him.
Well,
I think that's a decent fee.
It would be, if they were staying up, it would have been nice for him to go back to Schalke, because they are kind of needing a centre back.
They've got Mustafi now.
I was about to say they have Mustafi. They do have Mustafi. Luke, there were rumours we were getting him. So, no.
I remember we were linked with Mustafi, and Rick's going to disagree with me. He turned around and said, I don't want Kabak. I'd rather Mustafi. He's got a bit of Premier League experience, and I was thinking, are you mad? Like,
only because I see Kabak
I'd rather play with 10 men.
Yeah, but he can see his 60+ goals in a season already, and the league ain't even finished over there. But to be fair, he's done well when he's been here, so fair play to him.
You can't blame that on one player, though.
No, you can't. You can't. But it don't look good on his CV, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. well, of course, Doug's put in the journalist that the Bundesliga expert that said that Liverpool are trying to get both Kabak and Konaté. If we had to pick between the two, if that is the thing, are we all picking Konaté over Kabak?
No question.
I don't think we're going to have to choose. I think we're going to get two. We get two centre backs this summer, 100%. That's. I think even Pierce mentioned that as well. That Liverpool are looking for two centre backs, and it's Konaté, and they're going to go for Kabak. So I don't think it's a position where we're going to have to choose. But it would be Konaté of the two, because I think he's a much better centre back.
Yeah. I agree. Jesus Christ, Liverpool's defence is going to be so filthy next season. Bloody hell, I can't wait. I can't wait.
We just need a decent striker to go with the centre back coming in.
And anyone up for Daka from Salzburg? No,
I like him, but there's been so many people when I've tweeted about Daka that don't like him. That say that his conversion ratios aren't that good in
Bobby
Salzburg.
Firmino's level.
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah,
I'd rather Daka at the moment than Bobby No Goals at the moment.
But well, to be fair, saying that though, remember Mo Salah's first season when Mo couldn't score a goal every 5 shots, and he still got 44 that season. it happens.
Yeah, but we haven't been creating that many Well, we have, to be fair. We just can't hit a barn door at the minute. But
just give it a Bobby and he'll just miss it. That's the thing that's been happening.
I think we're going to go for a winger instead, actually, rather than a striker. Yeah.
Mbappe wants to play left wing next season, doesn't he? So
that's why LeBron's in. We're getting it's all figured out. Liverpool PSG final. LeBron's going to be there. We'll get Mbappe in the Liverpool shirt. Hold it up next season. Give him that number 7 shirt. Milner will happily retire it for him next season.
I was thinking more of Sancho because Dortmund want Origi.
Yeah, but there's a lot of rumours with Sancho's entourage that they're not the nicest bunch to bring into a football club. That Sancho don't even turn up to training on time. But
he'd be buggered at Liverpool. I don't think Sancho,
unless Klopp gets hold of him.
Yeah, maybe, but then I still think he could be going to Manchester United at some point. I think they've made him like they're trying really, really hard to try and get Haaland in somehow, because of course Solskjaer worked with him earlier on in his career. But for me, I think Sancho's heading to United or possibly Chelsea, because Chelsea just like throwing money at stuff.
Sancho reminds me of a new Jermaine Pennant, the bad boy footballer type he wants to be. Not his footballing skill. Obviously, his level was above Pennant, but it just reminds me of that sort of person.
I think he just needs a good manager. He's not had a world class manager at Dortmund really with him, So I think someone like Klopp, and then obviously having like Pep Linders around there would sort him straight and get his head around it. Even Henderson would give him a kick up backside and say, "Look, sort out. What are you doing?" And I think that's it.
What about Gareth Southgate for England?
Oh, for God's sake, Luke. Now he'll just listen to the FA tell him, and then he'll just deliver it. He's practically like Gareth Southgate is practically Darth Vader to Palpatine. The FA is Palpatine, and then there's Darth Vader doing all the dirty business, and that is just what it is. I hate Gareth Southgate. I'm not even English, neither. I'm Welsh, so it shouldn't even bother me. But I just hate Gareth Southgate so much. Doug reckons I reckon we get 20 million for Matip. It would be around there. Look, I think in a dream world, in a Michael Edwards world, it would be 35, 40 million. In a realistic world, it would be 20. But we do live in a world with Michael Edwards in it, so it could be 30 or 40. Matip's going to get injured at the airport if he leaves Liverpool in the summer, says official White. That's such a good comment. To be fair, we haven't had the classic yet. I personally think Weetabix is stronger than Matip this season. That is what it is this year, of course, anyway. But I think we covered that pretty well. I think all of us want Konaté at Liverpool. I think there's no question about that. I think Liverpool want him as soon as possible, so maybe it might get announced in the Euros. Who knows? As soon as we find out that he's a Liverpool player, we'll let you know. Hopefully that'll be before the end of the season anyway, because I do believe it's now the beginning of the new financial year as well. So Liverpool could announce it any time at all. So if the medical's done and that, then Liverpool can do it. So
it'd be nice after win number 7.
I want to see when we win number 7, you get the 3 new signings just come through the tunnel and congratulate the boys.
Lifting the trophy with them.
Yeah. Just like Fabinho. Coming goes after the Champions League. Fabinho was down the table.
It'll be Konaté, Mbappe, and Haaland all in the same video, just looking at the game that we just won for number 7.
They're gonna be in Istanbul, and Mbappe's gonna lose the final. He's gonna do the full John Terry, put on that Liverpool shirt, and he's gonna go with the players.
Just I'm a Liverpool player. Yeah, go get a medal. Yeah. That's literally what it's gonna be. I'd love that. It'll just be now we've won that 7 times. There's 3 new players just walking in. But yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, that's true. Fans are back in for the Champions League final. So they're back in for the
semi-final as well.
Yeah,
Istanbul semi-final. The feeling of Istanbul, the fans in the stand. There's going to be loads of Liverpool fans around the stadium as well who can't get in the stadium, just like it was in Madrid. The magic, so.
Kabak masterclass in Turkey.
Oh wow, that's actually right. There's so many stars aligning. It's weird. It is very, very weird. All the stars lining up, and of course, as well, the big news today. Anyway, before we do move on, Sergio Ramos is out of both of the ties against Liverpool, which is huge. It's sad for Mo Salah because I would have loved him to headbutt him and get away with it, but we move on. Mo can go on and win the Champions League, while Sergio Ramos, tries and thinks about where he's going to go next, because I believe he is a free agent at the end of the summer. I think.
Yeah, contract's up.
Yeah, contract's up, so he could go. I think Manchester United would be mentioned, but to be fair, who doesn't get mentioned with Manchester United in stupid talk? To be fair, anyway. But before we do head off for the night, then let's read a few more of your comments on what you had to say about Matip. Anyway, in that situation, Schalke again relegated. Yeah, Doug, I think that's an understatement. Oh, for God's sake. I've got a tattoo, an Italian flag tattooed on my chest. I'm really so Naples. Oh, for God's sake. The Steelers are saying Phillips and Virgil could be next season's first choices. Could be. Of course, Nat Phillips winning Player of the Month today as well. So congratulations to Nat. Every time I do think of Nat Phillips, I keep on thinking of that Simpsons meme where they just fly into the window. I always think about her. Joe Smith says setup ? If you're on about what we use StreamYards. StreamYards is the best at streaming live and getting podcasts like this. So if you're interested, then please check them out, because it is very, very good. To be fair, oh dear, how sad. Never mind, says Doug with Ramos anyway. But before we do have Real Madrid, we do, of course, play Arsenal this weekend. I believe it's 8 p.m. kickoff UK time, anyway, at the Emirates. And Luke, the Emirates has been a very difficult place for Liverpool to win games over the last couple of years, of course. Of course, Arsenal have had their troubles this season, earlier on in this season, of course. But they've got a bit of rhythm back to them, of course. Saka has been unreal for them this season, as well as Kieran Tierney as well. But how would you see the weekend's game going for Liverpool anyway?
I think, as you mentioned, like going to the Emirates is not one of our best grounds of going to. I think the last time we won there was it where we held on for that 4-3 the opening day of the season, where Mane run past 3 or 4 of their players and obviously scored that brilliant goal. But I think in the last few years we've been unlucky there. I mean, last season we were still half drunk because we'd already won the league, and we only lost to them 2-1 really. So we had to give them something. But I think over the years it's not been the best ground for us. But I think the way with the international break, it came at a good and a bad time for me, because yes, we was on a decent run, beating Leipzig. We got the result against Wolves. We didn't play well against Wolves, and that's why I felt that the break was needed. But I do think there was a little bit of a winning mentality there. Arsenal, we know this season, I've been quite disappointed, because I expected them to maybe be a bit more further up the table than where they are now.
Yeah.
But of course, that they've got some great talent in their squad. Aubameyang, we know how good he is. We know what a great goal scorer he is. Lacazette, at the moment, last few games, has started to pick up some goals. For me, I think their main threat at the weekend will more than likely be Odegaard. I think if you give him time and space on the ball, there is a lot of rumours again that we're linked with him in the summer. I think we were linked with him years and years ago before he'd signed for Real Madrid. But I do think that it's a massive job for Fabinho at the weekend, playing in that defensive midfield role, to stick on an Odegaard. Don't give him time, don't give him space, that freedom to allow Aubameyang, because Aubameyang's he's gonna love to run in behind Phillips or Kabak playing at centre back on Saturday. It's a big game for Liverpool, because Rick says that we're out the top 4 race. It is difficult for us to get in that area, but if we win this game, we can focus on the Champions League game. We've got a decent running fixture to the Premier League, so we just cannot afford to lose or drop points in this game. So if we play the right team, we pick the right selection, players that play in their right positions, I think we can get a result. I think we should be really confident going into the game on Saturday. So I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool, a couple of goals from Jota, and hopefully 3 points.
Well, to be fair, I take that. I take a 1-0 like we did against Wolves anyway. But Wyoming, it was that, wasn't it? It came at the international break. It did come at the wrong time for Liverpool. Kabak and Phillips, that partnership strengthening game by game. 3 games, 3 clean sheets. Jota coming back in, Thiago looking fantastic. Fabinho back into midfield after what it felt like forever anyway. But how are you feeling going into the game against Arsenal? You same as Luke? Are you very confident going into what is normally a tough place for us to go?
I'm a bit different because my one with Liverpool is we're a momentum team, and normally when you have like breaks, we normally struggle when we come back and takes us a while to warm up. So my concern, obviously, I would love this game against Arsenal before the international break, but now it's after the international break. With our record not being great there, overall we've always struggled against Arsenal in the Emirates. We haven't lost many times there under Klopp. Majority of times we've got draws there, but it's not going to be an easy game. I watched Arsenal against West Ham. I thought West Ham should have beaten them. Antonio missed a great chance to make it 4-2 before Arsenal got a third goal. I thought Arsenal looked very suspect defensively with David Luiz and Mari at centre back. I think they're missing Gabriel's still injured, I think. So that's a good bonus for us. So I think Arsenal defence can be got at. I think also Arsenal, the way they're playing, they had a Bammy on left wing against West Ham and Lacazette through the middle. So I'm wondering if Arsenal are going to do that again against us because, Lacazette's been in good form. He's been scoring goals for them. And I like Arsenal's blend of youth in terms of, I think that Smith Rowe's been really good for them. He's looked a good player. Saka's obviously a great talent, we know. And Odegaard, we know he's a fantastic player. I watched him when he was at Real Sociedad, and I thought he was outside the top 3 teams. He was the best creative player in the league. So I think he's a hell of a player. And I've been quite impressed with him. So I think there's stuff there in terms of Arsenal. We still have to turn up for this game, because luckily our away form's been good. It's only my home form's been terrible, but away been good. So I think Arsenal will come out and attack us, which is the benefit of this game. So I do feel we can win this game, but I'm just thinking we have to still be switched on and ready from the whistle kicks off. Because if we're asleep and we allow Arsenal to get ahead of steam and they create chances, we've seen Liverpool when they go a goal down that we're not the best. We're no longer mentality monsters in terms of coming back and winning 2-1 or 3-1 like they did last season. So for us, we can't afford to be asleep and go a goal down. So we have to be on it from the get-go. But then again, it wonders I think my question is, who do we play up top? Because some people are saying Bobby might come back in because of his Arsenal record. I would start Jota. I would go full strongest team. Maybe risk Ginny for Madrid. I think Ginny's played a lot of football over international break. He's played all of Holland's games. And I'll probably maybe play Jones or Keita. But I would go everyone else full strength, full strength, and smash Arsenal, then take players off. So for me, I'm going for 2-1 Liverpool win. Okay.
Ricky, what Wyoming said there, who's going to start at top? Will it be Bobby Firmino? Will it be Thiago Jota? That is, I think, the big question. And I think realistically it will tell, Klopp, he plays Bobby at the big games, doesn't he? And for Bobby, there's no bigger game than Arsenal because he is the most prolific goal scorer against Arsenal for Liverpool in history. That's a fact. And where are you on it? Do you think that it will be Bobby, or do you think Jota will keep his place for the weekend?
I think you're going to be very shocked with the team selection at the weekend. I think with the Champions League, you're going to see some proper dodgy players at the weekend. I think the front three won't be the front three. I think it will be Shaqiri. I think he'll put Ox out there, and I think he might even give Origi a game. This is the wrong game to play before Real Madrid. I think it's going to show what Klopp thinks of the Premier League at the weekend with the team selection that he puts out. If he thinks he can get top 4, you'll see the best players we've got out there. and then hoping we get it done by half time, and then you take your 3 best players off. But I do think he makes some weird selections at the Arsenal game. Got to be careful with who he plays at centre back because we ain't got a lot of them left. It's going to be interesting to see who he does pick, and then you'll just gauge it on that. Because Real Madrid ain't the best team at the minute, but that's a massive game, and Champions League is the one we want this season. Obviously, because we've fell so far off in the league.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Score prediction for you, Ricky? Do you think the
if we go full strength, I think we beat them 3-0. If he plays a mixture, it could be 2-1 either way.
Okay.
Depending who plays.
It would be interesting. And guys, let us know your thoughts. I personally think I agree with Ricky. It could be a very mixed team, but I think that will be after the first Madrid game. I think you'll go fall out for this one, in my personal opinion. See if we can beat Arsenal, and then if we can't beat Arsenal, then I think you'll go, okay, I'm going to put all my eggs into the Champions League basket and see what happens. Because either way, we're either going to get Europa League or we're just not going to get European football. That's how it's going to be for Liverpool this season. And I think personally Klopp would prefer no European football because, like he said, the money will be there anyway in terms of money coming in due to the Champions League. But it is then that Liverpool won't have any problems then when it comes to European football. It'll just be focusing on the league then for next season. And that. But for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool for the weekend. Bit of a spoiler for tomorrow's match, match preview show. But yeah, 3-1 for me, I'm going for anyway. I could change my mind tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to, because I think if Klopp does name the team that I'm thinking about, then yeah, I do think that Liverpool will win 3-1 anyway, of course. But guys, I think we're going to leave it there for tonight because we have been going on for over an hour tonight. So yeah, brilliant episode yet again. Thank you to everyone that's been in the comment section, commented in. As always, you're really lovely people. I love seeing all of you in and interacting with one another anyway. But Wyoming, thank you for coming on, mate. Where can we find you on the socials?
Pleasure, mate. Oh yeah. Give me a follow at LFC_homie, and also give Yanks the Cop a follow. Come join us on there. We've got our Arsenal show preview coming up now at 10 o'clock. So come pop over and drop us a subscribe as well.
Absolutely brilliant. Guys, Wyoming's links will be in the video description down below. If I haven't already put them in, I'll doubly make sure that all of them are in. But I'm pretty sure all of them are in anyway. But Ricky, thank you for coming on, mate. Where can we find you on the socials?
So we are the 1892 Reds podcast. We're doing a preview show tomorrow for the Arsenal game. You can find us on Instagram at the 1892 Reds podcast. You can also find us on Twitter for the same thing. If you're new to it, subscribe to us, give us a follow on social media, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, brilliant. And Luke, thanks for coming on, mate. Where can we find you on the socials as well?
Cheers, Connor. As Ricky mentioned, obviously, we're joined with the 892 Reds podcast, so give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Also, personally, my Twitter account is Luke_Burnsy. Ricky's R_Wadey on Twitter. Give us a follow, subscribe to the YouTube account, and check us out tomorrow for our preview show for Arsenal tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, please go and check the lads out. Brilliant content over there. Make sure you tell them where you subscribe from. Make sure it was the Kop Council, and put a comment on saying that Luke, Connor didn't fall asleep this time. Make sure you put that in for sure anyway. But yeah, guys, thank you to everyone.
I didn't bring me sleeping tablets with me tonight, mate. It's just terrible.
That's where those tablets went. I knew you took them. Anyway, but yeah, thank you to everyone that has commented, shared, and subscribed. Very much appreciated. If you're new to the Kop Council and like these podcasts every single Thursday, then please do let me know in the comment section down below and hit that subscribe button, of course, to help us grow and get out there ourselves anyway. But until next time, guys, that is going to be it from me. We'll be live again tomorrow with, like we said, the match preview show for the Arsenal game. But until next time, that is going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Kop Council, and we will see you all very, very soon. See you later.